Life Cycle Assessment. The International Organization of Standardization, in the Life Cycle Assessment, Principles and Guidelines paper, defines the life cycle as consecutive and interlinked stages of a product or service system, from the extraction of natural resources to the final disposal. As for the life cycle assessment, it is defined as a systematic set of procedures for compiling and examining the inputs and outputs of materials and energy, and the associated environmental impacts directly attributable to the functioning of a product or service system throughout its life cycle. Both definitions are coded as ISO 14040.2. A product life cycle is made of 4 stages: perception and development, existence, growth, and end of life. The final stage is the one where the product is no longer in use, and is the one that should concern us more, because of its impact on the environment and the lack of transparency about it. The life cycle assessment is an ISO standard tool to assess the environmental footprint of a product, service or process, and to define the factors contributing to that footprint. It can be used for strategic decisions in planning for a product, service or process, and for comparing different development solutions. The analysis of an LCA differs from one product to another, but the philosophy and ideology behind have, as common value, the environment. The life cycle assessment methodology is applied in many fields and for various purposes, for example, global life cycle impacts of consumer products, where it originated, carbon footprint, originally for products or services and, lately, even for cities, creating design solutions, assessing waste management systems, energy and nitrogen footprint, and sustainable development. ISO standards 14040 and 14044 define 4 phases of a life cycle assessment that can be organized in a framework. The framework is based on the constant interaction between the goal and scope, inventory analysis, impact assessment, the interpretation of data. This 4 phases of LCA will help find solutions through the direct applications of results. In phase 1 of the life cycle assessment, we express the goal of the analysis. That is done by defining various elements like what to collect, the application and audience, the limitations, etc. Phase 2 is the inventory analysis, where a series of inputs are specified, like raw materials, emissions, energy, etc. In phase 3 of the life cycle assessment, there is the evaluation of the impacts by selecting methods, categories, indicators, and more. Phase 4 is the interpretation of all data of the analysis. This phase also includes, among other elements, the decision-making and the marketing. To conclude, life cycle assessment is used in many applications, and there are many studies related to its implementation in the textiles sector. It should be clear that a good and accurate life cycle assessment requires a lot of effort and expertise to be accomplished, but it should always be considered in any product or process development, as it can assist decision-making. The method is not self-optimized, and it needs human intervention in order to access alternative solutions and make optimal choices.